any life decision that feels big enough to us, we're never going to be ready.
Yes.
Things happen when you make a decision. You don't have to be
Mhm,
ready. You can just know what the next best step is and take and do that.
mhm,
Like just take the next best step and keep moving. And
mhm.
then when you get there, take the next big step. You don't need to try to figure out how to go from like the first step all the way to the top of the stairs before
Right.
you take the first step.
Hola, hola. Welcome to the Viva la Mami podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Cuevas. And on today's Mamis Abroad episode, I am so excited to have the one and only Vanessa Mota from My Dominican Kitchen. I am so excited to have her here. Not only have I followed her for a long time, like coincidentally, I've heard of you, Vanessa, during this webinar. I think it was like during the pandemic, and you were helping people make authentic Dominican like breakfast. El, ay, ¿cómo se llama?
Mango.
El mango. Sí, el mango.
Yes.
And then I met you at Mom 2.0 Summit in Tennessee. What was it, 2 years ago? And,
Mhm.
we've connected since then. And since you now sharing your story about moving to the Dominican Republic, I was like, I need to have this mujer even more just because you have done the bold move of literally moving abroad. And I am so excited for you to share that side of the story. But for those of you who have never heard of Vanessa Mota, which y'all should, she is a Dominican American content creator, digital publisher, and author based in the DR. She is the founder of My Dominican Kitchen, a bilingual food brand built for the Dominican diaspora that has been sharing authentic recipes and cultural stories for over 12 years. That is amazing, mujer. After a decade of building her brand from New Jersey/New York, Vanessa made the bold decision to relocate to the DR y solita, which is even more amazing. So you're stepping fully into a new chapter of life. And she's got a lot to share about that, as well as how her creativity and purpose essentially has grown since making this decision to move. So, Vanessa, thank you so much for being here. I am really excited for you to share your story.
No, thank you for having me. I'm really excited as well. Um, yeah, it's been an amazing 5 months of me living in the DR. So I'm excited to share all about it and to tell you and, just have a nice conversation.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. So, walk us a little back about what made you make that decision in moving to the DR, and what made you finally say, yes, I'm just going to do this because I'm kind of curious about that. You kind of shared that a little bit on social media, pero this is your moment to tell us.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I get it all the time. Well, not so much anymore, but in the beginning when I first moved for like the first 3 months, I kept hearing the same question in different ways, right? Like people wanted to know what made me come to live in the Dominican Republic, but I cannot really say that I can point out like a specific reason or moment that I just went like, now's the right moment. Um, for a very long time, ever since I can remember, I always wanted to experience what it will be like to live here. And it was always something like this thought in the back of my mind, right? That, what could that look like? What would that be? But it was never really because I had kids and I had young kids. Um, there was never like a real plan in my
Mm,
head as to, oh, I'm going to do this then. Funny enough, I thought I was going to end up moving to Florida because one thing that I did know is that I did not want to stay in New Jersey because I do not
the
like the
weather.
cold. Yeah. I don't do the cold weather and I lived there for more than 25 years and I
Yeah.
do not do the cold weather. So for me, that was always like a difficult time of the year. So I always
Mhm.
thought, oh, I'll, move to Florida. I lived in Florida for a year. I loved it. My best friend lives there. So, and then my daughter ended up going to college there, which
Yeah.
is crazy. Um, but it all felt like life was guiding me there.
Mhm.
However, life has a funny way of like, you know, moving you in different directions. And
Yeah.
last year, a lot of things were happening, how the environment in the US right now, especially for immigrants, is not the most comfortable one.
Mm.
There's a lot that is happening that is keeping people from our communities in a bit of a tense, um, like an ongoing tense feeling, right? Like you never feel relaxed. Um,
Mhm.
so that was one of the things that was happening, kind of like, this feeling of like, I don't want to be here no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was one of the things, but it wasn't everything, right? Like sometimes if you have to stick it to it, like you do it.
Mhm.
Um, but many things were changing. In my life in general, my children are going to college. Well, my daughter was already in college. My son was
Yeah.
finishing high school. He was getting ready to go to college, and then I found myself thinking about, okay, what's next for me? Like my
Yeah.
kids have already, they're becoming young adults. They're building their life. They're going away. Do I want to stay here and continue to live this life that I don't, in that moment, I didn't really feel comfortable in, or did
Yeah.
I want to try something new? And I don't know. I realized that I have this thing that is kind of like a theme in my life for a very long time, where I literally like do things before I'm ready,
Mm.
and then I just figure things out later.
Yes.
I just allow my heart to tell me where to go and what to do, right? And I listen to my intuition. If I feel like this is the right thing to do, I don't wait to have like everything in order for me to
Mhm.
make the decision. I just literally make the decision first, and then I go, okay, I need to figure out how to make it happen. How do I do this? And I don't know. I got this sense of, this is what I want to do
Mhm.
one day, and I sat down and I talked to my kids and I was like, what do you guys think? And,
Yeah.
they were very supportive. My kids are
Oh,
always
that's
very
awesome.
supportive. So they were like, oh, that is amazing for you. That is great for you. You should definitely do
Oh.
it. Go ahead. And the moment that they said, go ahead, it was like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess I got to figure out how to do this now. And then next thing I know, in 2 months, I'm already living here. So that's how it
Oh.
came about. I'm not really the person that plans things through too much, or
Mhm.
actually, I do. When I plan things through too much, I don't. I end up not doing them. So whenever I
Ah,
have this
interesting.
right, because I stay in the planning
Yeah, like
process.
you're so focused on that.
Because when I plan something too much, it's because I'm afraid to do it and I procrastinate.
Mm.
And I allow fear to take over that. So
Mm.
whenever I feel the need to change and to do something different, I literally just do it,
Yeah.
and then I figure out later. So basically that's what I did. It's like, I just need to do it. So let's figure out how to do it now. And then
Yeah.
everything else is gonna fall into place. So that's how that decision came about. But it was really a mix of a lot of little different things that
Yeah. Yeah.
compounded right into me like being like, I'm running away. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like you were waiting for that moment to, kind of push you in making that decision. Like, obviously it was contextual, ¿verdad? Porque your kids are in college, right? So that already gave you kind of like that window of opportunity to even think about making a move. But
Exactly.
then, and it's also the political climate, right? And then, just like you not knowing what is next in line, right? Like you knew that the weather wasn't like a thing for you. You were thinking whether Miami or DRA. And I think
Hmm.
a veces like we just need to allow whatever is around us, whether if it's like fate or like the forces that are around us, to really listen to that. And
And guide us.
yes, to as a guide, as
Hmm.
like a North Star, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Para, to then make that decision.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's letting go past the fear, right? Letting go past the like que dirá la gente. And especially you as a mom, like a lot of parents may believe, right, that, oh, pero todavía tienes tus hijos.
Mhm.
So what would you
Los
say to that?
abandoné.
Ajá, que los abandonaste. Like, what would you say to that?
That's not really a thought that I've given like too much energy
Mhm.
because I don't feel in any way that that is my kids. My kids are
Mm.
like a huge part of my life every single day. And that's never going to change. Like they are my babies. I'm always there for them. And wherever I am, that's always going to be home for them,
Yeah.
right? Even if we are apart. My daughter left for college to Florida 2 years ago. And honestly, like the first month, I couldn't find myself. I was like, I miss my baby. She's over there by herself. I don't know what I'm gonna
Yes.
do. And but I still was at home with my son and my dog, and it just felt like a little separation because I talk to her every day
Mhm.
via like video. So we're always like together. Sometimes I'm working and like she wants to like just be on the phone with me while I work. And she's literally there, like she's here with me. Um, so the connection with my kids that the connection that I have with my kids goes beyond that, right? And I know there's this sense that some parents have, especially moms, where we feel that we always have to live for our kids and we have to make ourselves always accessible and available for whenever they need us.
Mm.
So, in a sense, we sort of like stop living for ourselves to be there for them.
Mm.
And that's okay up to a certain point
Mm.
because, you know, we are people too and we have needs too. And a lot of times, like, I sit down and think, like, if I don't do for me, if I don't take care of me, if I don't live for me, who's going to do it?
Exactly.
I cannot be, going through life just thinking about living my life through my kids' life. They're now growing into their own people and they're going away to build their own lives,
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you sit down when you find yourself in this situation and you think, okay, ¿qué me queda a mí ahora? Right?
Mhm.
Like, who am I now that my kids are going and leaving me?
Yeah.
And start to kind of like grow into who they are and learn about themselves and who they want to become and then start to build a life from there, right? Like my daughter already told me she wants to stay living in Florida. She doesn't want to come back to New
Mm.
Jersey, right? So
Okay.
she's already telling me I'm going to do life
Yeah.
away somewhere, right? And I realize my son is leaving too. He's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stay in a house by myself. Um, in a situation and a place that I don't feel like it's aligned with who I am anymore, just to be
Mm.
here for them when they're not even here.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I started thinking about what does Vanessa want now? What will
Mhm.
make Vanessa happy? Because if Vanessa's happy, my kids are going to be happy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where I go in the world, they're never going to stop being my children and
Yeah.
I'm never going to stop being there for them, right?
Right.
So I don't see it as a problem. All I see is that I'm really excited and really happy and living my best
Yeah.
life, and that
Yeah.
is transmittable, and my kids can feel it. And if mommy's happy, they're happy,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? But if they need me, you are sure that I'm gonna hop on a plane and be there in like 2 seconds, right?
Right. Right. Right.
So I never see as me like leaving them behind or anything like that. It's kind of like they're growing into their own people, and I have to give them a space to do that. And I
Mhm.
trust my kids with everything. And I have no fears, no
Yeah.
complaints, no worries with them. Um, so that makes it a lot easier for me to be able to like make this decision and be in this
Yeah.
position.
Yeah. I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. Good for you. And it's telling that you raised amazing kids porque they understood your situation and they gave you that green light. Not that
Right.
you needed their permission, ¿verdad? Pero you just by you having this open dialogue with them and including them in the situation that you were in, whether thinking whether you should move or not, like that is telling that they want you to be happy. They're cheering for you, and that is amazing. And that just falls
Mhm.
back into the way that you raise them. So tap yourself in the back porque has hecho buen
Thank you.
trabajo. Yes.
Thank you. I always say, that's the thing that I'm the most proud of.
Yeah.
Of everything that I've done in my life, and I mean, you read my bio, and I've done all these amazing things.
Yeah.
Still, for me, all of that is minimum compared to my work as a mom.
Mm.
And I'm just really proud of that because when I look at my kids and I have conversations with them, and I can see that the people that they have grown to be, my main goal in life was always to raise kind people, like
Mhm.
people that were good people, like in this world that and don't know. So I'm really
Yeah.
proud of that.
Ah, that's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I feel like we started off kind of soft over here. But obviously, that's a big component, especially with, you having two college-age kids. Y también, this serves as a reminder for moms, that we shouldn't lose ourselves. Like, it doesn't matter what season we're in our lives. Like, I'm just starting off, right, with like preschool-aged kids, and you are starting off as like college age, like adults, right?
Mhm.
And we're all in different seasons of life, but that is a reminder that we still shouldn't lose track of ourselves.
Correct.
And we deserve to have an imagination. We deserve to have dreams and goals, and we shouldn't let those kind of in the back burner,
Mhm.
because then we only have one life, like.
Yes. And when this is the way that I see it, it's like it's a muscle that you have to exercise constantly.
Mm.
Because if you become the type of mom that will dedicate her entire life to just raising her kids and not think of herself, when it comes the moment where you become an empty nester, you're still going to be that mom because you're building an attachment to your kids for you
Mm.
to feel fulfilled and happy, right? But if from from a young, since they are a young, you start understanding that you are your own person and that you have your own needs for you to be happy, um, and continue to work on yourself to leave space for you to dream and work on the things that fulfill you and that make you happy aside from being a mom and your kids. When you become an empty nester, it's easier for you
Mhm.
to kind of like let them grow into being their own people, and building their own lives. And then you move forward with your own life and your dreams and your things because you have already been building that from the get go. What is
Yes.
hard is for you to sit and think, okay, all I did was raise my kids. Now, what do I do for me?
Mm,
But if you have
mhm.
already been in the process, like you're raising your kids and building your family and all of this stuff, but at the same time, you're also pouring into you and understanding
Mhm.
who you are as a person and what you like and what you enjoy and what dreams you have, and you start working on them little by little. When the time comes when you find yourself with more time to be able to then you know what to do with, then you know how to fill it. Because that's the
Yeah.
problem, right? Like when you find yourself with all this time and then you don't know who you
Mm.
are and you don't know what you like and you don't know how to fill that time. Um, and that can be really hard. But if
Yeah.
you work on it as they're young and like you continue to exercise that and believe and nurture your beliefs and your wants and your needs, when the time comes that the kids like go and now you have all this time free for yourself, you already know like, oh, okay, now I have more time to do this and do that and do that and do that. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not really sad. It's not even you're not gonna have this space where you feel lost. It's kind of like
Mm.
more like, okay, what do I do now? With
Yes.
excitement, right? Like where do I choose to put my time in? So
That's
yes,
awesome.
I encourage every mom, even if they just gave birth today, to always have some space. And I know like it can be hard because raising kids takes a lot, but there's got to be a moment or a time where you pour into you. Otherwise, you're going to burn out. You're going to be burned out all the time. And what
Mhm.
happens, at least what happens with me when I get burned out, because I have, I'm not going to say if I haven't,
Right.
because,
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah.
But when I get burned out, I have a short fuse. Like I'm temperamental. I explode easily,
Mhm.
and I have like little patience for things. And when you have kids, you need to be patient.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to maintain, your calm, because everything that you feel, you transmit to your kids.
Yep.
And all of that affects how they grow up and who they grow up
Mm.
to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we want to raise happy, joyful, kind, beautiful kids, and people and human beings, we have to show up as that, right? Because that's all they learn.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. That is a great reminder for any mama in whatever season she's in, and obviously this episode is specifically about your move
Mhm.
abroad, but I think this is just a wonderful message that you can share to anyone, regardless if they want to move outside of the US or not. Porque obviously this is a motherhood podcast, and I really appreciate you sharing that and serving it as a reminder that, yeah, like how can we be happy moms and show up in front of our kids in the most, I don't know, I think like genuine way without feeling like you are sacrificing yourself. And obviously there will be moments, right?
Of course.
That obviously happens to us, like the newborn stages, right? Where we're pouring so much towards our kids and not ourselves. Pero
Mhm.
it's like you said, you are building that muscle. And I think that that often can lead to, just having the sense of fulfillment, not just as a mom, but also as a woman, as a mujer,
Mhm.
as a human being.
Yeah.
And that definitely takes practice, but I love that you're sharing this, because that way the mom who is listening isn't alone and doesn't feel like whether they're selfish for thinking certain ways, and prioritizing themselves. Like, no, we all need to allow ourselves to focus on ourselves.
Exactly. And then, like you
Yeah.
said, there's going to be times. It's not like you
Yeah,
have to be that every single time.
exactly.
Um, like I said, it's a muscle that you exercise. So
Yeah.
every chance you get, you try it, and then it becomes easier
Yeah,
the more you do it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Well, let's transition over to you going back to the DR. So
Mhm.
you are originally from La República Dominicana, ¿verdad? Yeah. Okay. So now that you are there, like how has the island received you? And how have you received the DR since moving back? Like what has changed and what has not?
Listen, I don't even know what has changed. That's how long it's been since
Yeah.
I lived here. So, of course, a lot has changed. I was born in Santo Domingo, and I went to school, grew up, and I went to live to the U.S. when I was 14. So I started high school.
Mhm.
I actually went first when I was 11, lived there for a year. Then I came back to the DR, stayed 2 more years here, and then I went back when I was 14, started high school there. And then I built my entire life over there. I, made friends, graduated high school, got married, had my kids early, built a family, all of that, build a business, career,
Mhm.
all of that, all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it, right? Um, but since then, I had never lived here again. I had come multiple occasions for vacation
Mhm.
and all of that. But it's different when you're here on vacation, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a party the whole time. Well, I always wonder what it will be like for me to come back and live here,
Yeah.
especially at an older age, and be able to kind of like experience life as an adult.
Mhm.
I have to say that so far it's been amazing.
Mhm.
I actually, one of the main reasons that I wanted to live here and try was because I love how here, um, there's a slower pace to life,
Mhm.
right? There's not that rush, that we live in the US, especially in a city like New York and New Jersey,
Yeah.
where everything moves too fast. You always have to be like, you haven't finished the first thing and you already have to be thinking about the next thing. And, There's this pressure to always be productive all the time. It's kind
Mhm.
of like it's forbidding to rest. Like you have to do everything yesterday. And that after so long becomes really, really, really exhausting. And exhausting, not just to the body, but like to me, it felt like exhaustion to my soul. Like
Mm.
like mi espíritu, mi alma, like who I am as a person,
Yeah.
like
Todo.
everything. I was just tired of it all.
Yeah.
So that was like one of my main motivators for me to want to try life here.
Mm.
And it's been an adjustment, I'm not gonna lie. Because although that's what I was looking for, you still come with this mentality and this rush of like how things move
Mm.
there,
Mhm.
that you still have to come, like you have to adjust, right?
Yeah.
And it's a big crash. Like you have to come down a lot. So a lot of times I literally have to like meditate and remind myself, like, Vanessa, you are in DR. Everything's slower here. This is why you're here, right? Like I have to remind myself this is what you wanted. So
Yeah.
relax. And then I
Ajá.
just feel like, okay, we can take a
Sí,
break.
con
We
calma.
don't need to do everything today. It can wait until tomorrow. And there's
Yes.
freedom with that. Like with that feeling of like, oh, it didn't get done today. It's fine. I'll take care of it
Yeah.
tomorrow. And everything here is like that. Everyone here is like that. It's like, oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. We'll take care of it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Listen, you request a service here and they don't
Oh,
give you a
girl.
time. They don't give you a
No.
time. Like, you know how they are like, there's the schedule for everything and we're going to be there
Mhm.
from like 2 to 4. And yeah, no,
Mhm.
I'll say
No, yeah.
we'll come later.
And when is that,
Bring
right?
it to me
Yes.
tomorrow.
Girl, yes. Our AC unit, because we just moved into this house, our AC unit has been like dripping water.
Hmm.
And we told our landlord, he was like, "Oh, I have a contact for the person. You can reach out to them." I was like, "Okay, then I guess I'll reach out to them." And we reached out to the mechanic and he didn't get back until like 3 days later. And then,
Yeah,
which was just today. And then asked my husband, I was like, when are they coming? Because I need the AC. And he
right.
was like, yeah, they said that they're coming next Wednesday, possibly next Wednesday. I was like, what? And I'm like, como que no hay horario,
Right.
for
So
things.
aquí no te dicen possibly next Wednesday. Aquí te dicen,
Oh, it's even
no, no, aquí te dicen, oh, sí, sí, está bien, yo paso por allá en un rato. And then it's like 9 o'clock, right? And they haven't showed up. And then you call them and they're like, ay, perdón, es que no me llegó el tiempo. Que sí, que mañana yo paso por allá. They don't give you a time for tomorrow. So the same thing can happen tomorrow. What I'm trying to say is that you have to exercise a lot of patience because things
Yes.
do move slower.
Yes,
Um,
they do.
but I remind myself that that's why I wanted to come here. I wanted that slow
Mhm.
paced life. I want to do things on
Mhm.
my own time. I want to relax. I want to live with that sense of calmness and
Mhm.
relaxation, right? So there are those adjustments, that I have to learn, that I have to make, and all of that, right? That is different from where I used to live.
Yeah.
But I am learning to adjust and I am learning to find the joy in that,
Yeah.
and the joy in my new environment and how I feel here. There's something about being in the Caribbean that just feels right to my spirit. And I don't know
Mm.
how to explain it. And and it's hard for me to try to communicate this to people because it's something that I just feel inside. It's like I
Mm.
feel I'm in the right place. I feel like everything just aligns,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
And there's beauty in everything. The
Yeah.
fact that I can just go out and like buy like a fresh coconut anywhere in the
Oh,
corner and just, I'm by the coast, so I have a beach. I can go out and run by the beach every
I love
morning
it.
because I'm a walking distance from the beach. And to me, that's just a blessing. It's just
Yeah.
beautiful because those are things that I dreamed in the past. And sometimes like we dream about things and they can't become reality. Like you're able to manifest them in your life. And
Mhm.
when you're there, you don't even realize them. And you know
Mm.
that my daughter pointed that out to me recently. Like she came to visit me for a few months ago. And we went out for a walk, for a run,
Yeah.
because I'm literally walking distance from the beach.
That's
And
amazing.
as we are walking there, right, and we're walking in the direction and we can see the sea, she is telling me, wow, mom, this is so amazing. You are living your dreams. Do you realize that you live a walking distance from the beach? And it dawned on me because I remember that I used to always tell her, I want to live by the beach. I want to
Mm,
live by the beach. And then I moved here and all of a sudden, like, I forgot about it
yeah.
because I'm living it and I'm in the middle of it. And it took her
Yeah.
pointing it out to me. You are living your dream for me to realize that.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, it feels different to live here. It feels completely different, but in the best way possible.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's when you knew the time was right,
Yeah.
because that's when you feel like, that it's not only been the best decision, but you feel it literally in you, like in your spirit. And yeah, it's telling that it was the right time
Yeah.
for you to move back to the DR, especially considering, the season that you're at in your life.
Mhm.
And yeah, and then just going back to the motherland, and for me, even though I wasn't born in Mexico, just knowing that my ancestors came from here, right? I
Mhm.
already feel the sense of connection. And interesting enough, I was in someone else's podcast and I was interviewing, and she talks a lot about like spiritual healing and all of that. And she had a very interesting question about how am I now closer to my ancestors. Every time when I visit my family's pueblo, which is like an hour and 15 minutes away from where we're at, eh, I don't know. Every time I'm there, I just feel so refreshed. I feel so replenished. Like I just have this sense of energy. And then when I come back, I have all this creativity. It's like my ancestors are telling me and giving me all these ideas. Ya cuando salgo de allá del pueblito. And literally, like I feel that energy, put into me. It's such a weird feeling, pero
That makes
I'm like,
complete sense because you
yes.
know that I was born and I grew up in Santo Domingo, which is the capital, and
Mhm.
I'm living in Nagua, which is the northern coast town, like it's un pueblito
Sí.
costero. Pero ese pueblo de mi familia materna. It's my ancestors' town, right? And I had only come here like when I was really young on vacation for like a couple of days. And then
Mhm.
more recently now, after I was coming on vacation because my mom retired and she lived in Santo Domingo for a year. She did not like it because the city became too hectic and she decided to come
Mhm.
and live here. So whenever I came on vacation, I will come for a couple of days and then leave. And for some reason, I got pulled to live here. I had a lot of options that I was considering. And the main one was Santo Domingo because it's the city. Where everything is. You know, most of my family's over there and all of that. And something in me was just like, no, I want to live in Nagua. And I ended up here. And I feel exactly what you feel. I feel like I am supported when I'm here, like I am being held and I am more inspired to do and to create and to be. And it feels, in a sense, like I'm being guided, but I cannot explain how. It's just something that you feel inside.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is
And
so
and and
beautiful.
you know what's funny? That I moved here, and most of my family's in the ER and Santo Domingo. Only my mom and a couple aunts live here, and my kids are in the US. My dog stayed in the US. I'm literally all by myself here. And I live by myself in an apartment. I spend most of my days in my computer because my work is digital,
Mhm.
talking to no one. I haven't left my house in Sunday this week. And I
Really?
don't feel bad. I don't feel sad. I don't feel lonely.
Yeah.
I feel so at peace. I feel calm. I feel like connected in a way that I never felt in the US.
Mm,
And I never feel lonely.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Cause yeah, you're literally with them, like your
Mhm.
ancestors.
Yeah.
And that is so powerful. And that is something that I think we've never been talked about, back in the US, because we hear that our families moved away, right? Like they
Mhm.
fled their home country por tal y tal razones. And at least that's how I was taught. Que, well, you're immigrants, you're assimilating to the US, you don't talk about your past. And I think it's almost that drive that perhaps that Northern Star, right, that we followed to be closer, not just to la cultura, to the people, to the motherland, but it's closer to what was left behind. And perhaps that is our ancestors, the
Right.
spirits, or quien sabe, verdad? But it's
Right.
something very special. And I love that you said that. Yeah, it's so cool. And so now that you're, back in the DR, how has like your, business shifted? Has it changed at all? Like how are you essentially sustaining yourself now that you're living in a different country? And the reason why I'm asking that is because a lot of moms that have reached out to me, they're like, I want to move abroad with my family, but I don't know how I can do this because of money or because of my job, or, I don't know if I'll find employment at another country. So can you share a little bit more in terms of how you're sustaining yourself
Mhm.
back in the DR?
As you mentioned, I started a recipes website, a food blog, many years
Mhm.
ago, almost 12 years ago. That's
That's
how long
wild.
I've been in the digital space. And it grew in that time into a community. And I basically share recipe content online and I earn money through my website. I have
Mhm.
ads placed on that website and I have been nurturing that for many years. So that's the bulk of my income right now.
Yeah.
When I was in the US, I used to also work, my background is in digital marketing. So I used to work with agencies, managing social media, managing influencer campaigns, working events like, Mom 2.0. I didn't work for them, but events like that. So I have, for a very long time, been working remotely from the US. So that was not something new for me. Like if I wanted to do this before, I could have. I literally didn't do it because of my kids, because they were young, they were in school, all of that stuff. But I have since 2016 worked remotely in the digital space. Back then, I was, like I said, working with companies and all that while I was building my business. But so right now, my all of my income comes from my Dominican kitchen solely. So I continue to create recipes and share them online and on social media and the cookbook as well. So I still get royalties from the sales of the book and, brand partnerships and things of that sort. So a lot of the work that I do, or all of the work that I do, really is digital. So basically, I own a
Mhm.
digital business in the content creation space that allows me to earn money from anywhere in the world. So as long as I have my computer with me, I can go anywhere.
Yes, and the
Mhm.
fact that it's your own business, right? And you can take it anywhere. And I think that a lot of people limit themselves in that way because they're used to the traditional W-2, 9 to 5 type
Mhm.
job. And, some people can make it with keeping that job, especially if they're remote and their employer lets them or what have
Mhm.
you. Pero
Well, some
for them,
companies don't allow you to work
yeah,
from an international country. So
yeah,
when you work remotely, and you decide that you want to move away, you have to make sure that it is with a company that allows their employees to work from overseas, right, from another country. But I find that the easiest way that you can do that is if you work as an independent contractor,
hmm
not
hmm
really a W-2 employee, because when you are an independent contractor, they cannot put those guardrails on you because
hmm
you're not their employee, right? Like
hmm
they pay you for a service and you can provide a service from whatever
yeah,
it is that you are, as long as, you do what's contracted of you. But
yeah,
since you're not an employee of the company, they cannot dictate, how you do your job, basically.
exactly.
So that makes it easier, which is how I've worked most of the time. And but if you can start your own business
Mhm.
and build it and grow it in a way that you can monetize it, it's always best because you make the decisions as to how you earn money and how much. You have the flexibility and the freedom to decide when you work, how you work,
Mhm.
um, and all that stuff. And for
Mhm.
me, that's very important because I'm in a Caribbean island right now. And if on a Tuesday I feel like I want to go to the beach, and bathe in the sun, I
Oh
will
my
I will
gosh.
do that. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't have,
Yeah.
somebody else, an employer or anyone else telling me, oh, you cannot go. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
Mm.
I don't know. I'm just a little selfish like that. I like to have my
No.
schedule be flexible where I can like move things around easily and decide like, okay, I want to have fun today because
Exactly.
it's important for you to find joy and what makes you happy in life.
Right.
And I think I've reached a point in my life now that I'm like an empty nester, 41-year-old woman, that I'm just tired and I just want to live my life and I want to be happy. And going to the beach on a Tuesday and buying a fresh coconut makes me
Yes.
happy. So yes, I enjoy the flexibility that my business offers me. And I'm really, really grateful for it and for
Yes.
God and life to allow me to be able to build that and be able to create the life that I wanted to.
I
Because
love it.
when I started this blog 12 years ago, it was with this exacting goal in mind.
Yes, and that's what I was gonna mention, that you've leveraged your business to get here, like
Mhm.
and again, that's another layer to your story, right? Where not
Mhm.
only was the timing perfect, but you've gotten this far with your business that can allow you to move abroad,
Correct. Mhm.
and that's just wonderful, and I love it. And have you always had that in mind? You kind of said that, like,
Yeah, when I started a blog 12 years ago, it was not with the purpose of moving. It was with
Mm,
the purpose of me to have freedom. I
mm,
wanted, for me, the most important thing has always been, being able to have freedom, for me to be able to make decisions based on what I want to do and what feels right to me, right? And not have that be restrained because of a job or, you know, an employer or
mhm,
any of that. Like I wanted
mhm.
to be able to have freedom of my time for me to be able to decide what I wanted to do and when I wanted to do it and where I wanted to do it from, right?
Yeah,
Like that for me was important. So that was really always the goal. And it's
yeah.
funny because I did not realize that I had reached that goal until one day that I was meditating when I was here. Like I was already here and I was at the beach. I remember I like to go to the beach and like lay in a towel and just sunbathe and
Oh,
read and
that's
meditate,
awesome.
right? And in the middle of
Yeah.
one of my meditations at the beach, like it dawned on me, like, oh, you did it. Like this was it. This was actually the goal, and we got there.
Yeah.
And immediately, like your brain, once you achieve a goal, wants to go like, what's next? And then in
Yeah.
that moment, because I was meditating, I was like, I forced my brain to be like, no, 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 not time to think about what's next. It's time to just enjoy what you created
Yes.
for now,
Yes.
right? We can
Yeah.
we can make the next goal later. Right
Right.
now, let's just enjoy it. So,
Yes.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Ah, mujer, this is amazing. And you have listened to what your purpose is, and I get at this given time, but that because I think that we are ever evolving individuals, but the fact that you have gotten here has been so purposeful.
Mhm.
Not just through your life right now as an empty nester, but through your business and, just like your ancestors pulling you, to where you're at. Like todas estas cosas, like it's all meant for a purpose. And I love it.
Mhm.
And I think for a mommy who is listening, and especially who wants to move abroad, pero tal vez she's afraid or she believes that the time isn't right. Like, what would you say to that?
So for me specifically, I would say, and I'm taking a minute to answer this because I realize that it might not be like this for everybody.
Mm.
And if I say like in general, so there might be somebody that's gonna listen and be like, "Are you crazy?" or whatever. So I'm going to give my perspective from my point of view, from my own experience,
Mm.
um, and everything that I've lived so far, right? Through
Yeah.
the years. I truly believe this might be a hot take. People might not agree, but I truly believe that we are never really ready for
Mm.
anything.
Mhm.
We are never really ready for anything. We are always going to, if we are afraid enough, we are always going to find an excuse to say that we're not, that we can't do it now because we're not ready. And when I do this, then I'll be ready. But then you do that, and then you move the goalpost. Oh no, because I did this, but I still need this for me to be able to do it. And then you do that, and then like, no, but I still need this to be able to do it. And then you
Yeah.
don't realize that it's you. So we're never really ready. It's like having kids, right? Like people say, oh no, when I'm
Mhm.
ready. No one is ever ready.
Mm-mm.
Even if you
Nope.
think you're ready, you're not ready. No
No,
one is ever ready. So I
no.
feel that with any life decision that feels big enough to us, we're never going to be ready.
Yes.
Things happen when you make a decision. You don't have to be
Mhm.
ready. You can just know what the next best step is and take and do that.
Mhm.
Like just take the next best step and keep moving. And
Mm.
then when you get there, take the next big step. You don't need to try to figure out how to go from like the first step all the way to the top of the stairs before
Right.
you take the first step, right?
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to do. We're always trying to figure out the whole process to get to the top without taking the first step.
Yeah.
And that's not how life works because you don't
Yeah.
know what's up there. So you're not ready for what's up there. And because you don't know, you're not going to
Right.
be able to get ready for it because you don't know what's up there. You
Yes.
cannot prepare for something that you don't know what it is or like how to handle it, right? So
Mhm.
I believe we're never really truly ready. All you have to do is make the decision. This is what I want to do, and then decide what's the next best step and take that and move forward.
Mm.
And then you will
Mhm.
figure it out from there. And as you go, you will climb that stairs, and next thing you know, you're gonna be like in the Dominican Republic, laying on a towel on a beach, figuring out that you like made your life goal happen, right? So
Yeah.
that's really it. It's realizing that we don't need to over prepare. We don't need to plan every detail. We don't need to wait to do something if we feel that it's the right thing to do and what we really feel we want to do. All we can do is make the decision. This is what I want to do, and I want to do it today, and figure out what the next step is, and then just take that step,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything will flow from there.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
That's
I
that's
love
my
it.
take, my humble take.
No, see, and I appreciate you sharing that because I think that especially when you're moving to a different country, you just don't know what to expect, right? You don't know. And as much as you are planning, like the type of home that you want to live in or the type of city or the type of community you want to build, like you just never know. And I think that just like how you mentioned it, like it's taking those baby steps and allowing for that time, the space and just like the opportunity to just like take it slowly because
Mhm.
we're never going to be prepared. I think that we just need to allow ourselves to, I don't know, like have a goal obviously, pero también not being like those super type A type planners porque then we're not
Yeah.
going to achieve those goals.
The thing is that even if you have an idea of what to expect, it's just an idea. You
Yeah.
really do never know until you are experiencing it, until you are there. And then you have
Yeah.
to, if things don't turn out the way that you imagine it to be, you still have to troubleshoot and figure
Mm.
out what's
Mhm.
next, right?
Mhm.
So it's the same idea. Just
Yeah.
go in knowing and thinking that you don't know what you don't know, and you're not going to know it until you do it. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. No, I love it. Thank you for sharing that. And as far as with My Dominican Kitchen, how are you feeling inspired with recipes, with content, now that you're literally in La República Dominicana? Like, have you learned a little bit more about, cooking and recipe making and all of that?
Yes, and it is interesting because I, I don't know if it's because I'm here or whatever, but like the ideas are overwhelmingly too many.
Mm.
And now I'm like sitting here and it's like, okay, I need to focus on one. I cannot keep doing this because it's like, oh, and I can do this and I can do that and I can do this. It's like I'm having like the what's it called, shiny object syndrome, where
Yeah.
I can see all of the ideas and the opportunities and everything that I can do and create and build and do that is driving me
Yeah.
insane, right? So right now I'm in the process of like bringing myself back
Mm.
and reviewing again like what my business is and who is it for, and then you know um find like the process and the strategy to continue to kind of like build on my ideas, but from that lens, right? So that I stop
Mhm.
thinking about all the things that I want to do because it's too many.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's amazing because it's kind of like the connection to the island has opened up a whole world of like new inspiration, right? And new ways
Yeah.
for me to create and to talk about my culture. Like I know I started my business sharing recipes, but my my brand is not just about sharing recipes.
Mm.
What I really do is uplift my culture and talk about my
Mhm.
culture and share about my
Mhm.
culture through food.
Mhm.
And because it was like in the US, living in the US, it was kind of like the easiest way for me to stay connected.
Yeah.
And it grew from there. So just for me to figure out how to find ways to continue to expand on that, right? And continue to share recipes and build up on how can I preserve all of these recipes, but also
Mm.
uphold my culture and bring it to the world, right? And allow people to get to know the Dominican Republic and Dominican people through my stories and my recipes and what I have to share. So I'm working on finding the best way to do that.
Mhm.
And exploring a lot of ideas and a lot of things and continue to like create new recipes and learn about new recipes. The other day I was at the beach. Did I tell you how much I like the beach? So I went to this new beach in
Nice.
another town that a friend took me to, one of the most beautiful beaches in Samana. And
Mhm.
we sat down at a restaurant and we were having lunch there, pescadito frito, they cook on the beach and everything. And in that town, Samana, the whole province, they make pan de coco, which is a bread
Mm.
that is made with coconut milk from the fresh coconut. And I had
Oh.
never actually tasted it. I knew it was famous and I had heard about it many times, and I saw it in the menu, so I ordered one just so I could taste it, and it's so good. It's soft and gooey, and it was warm. It was like fresh, and it just has this like smooth, soft. It was just amazing. It was delicious.
Oh, sounds
So I
so
literally
good.
started asking the lady how to make it. And I recorded a video and I actually shared it on my Instagram, just the conversation, not her because she didn't want to be recorded, but the
Yeah.
conversation that I was having with her explaining to me how to make it. And it's like how they explain all recipes. No, no, tú le echas esto, le echas un chin de aquello, le echas lo otro, y lo amasa ahí, lo jala, y lo pone ahí a que se cocine. Literal. But I understood the process in a
Yeah.
way, so now I'm
Uh-huh.
excited to test that recipe and kind of like create it because that's my thing, right? My thing is like taking these instructions that people give you by like talk and the way that they do and
Uh-huh.
translate that and then test it and create it in a way that is accessible for people in the US, right? Like how can
Mhm.
someone who is Dominican or anywhere in the world, right? Even here or like Europe, wherever they are, and they want pan de coco because they haven't had it in such a long time, or
Mhm.
they've never tried it and they want to taste it. It's adapting that recipe and taking it the way that they told me how it's made and kind of like add measurements to it and like
Mhm.
a clear process of making it somewhere where it's not the island, right? Like, in your house using your oven. Because the way they make it literally like en un fogón y le ponen fuego abajo y arriba, right?
Ah,
Like,
okey.
yeah. So,
Se me hace similar a las gorditas, le dicen gorditas en México, pero es like pan de trigo o pan de elote, y
ujú,
lo ponen en un fogón también.
right. Sí,
And
entonces lo
yeah,
hacen como con fuego
unos
at the bottom and then at the top they put like warm like coal. And that's
yes,
how
that
really they cook it. But now, like what I do is basically like take that inspiration, but then I make it accessible. And how do we make it in the oven, right? And
mhm,
how do you
mhm,
measure like how much harina and how much milk and all of this stuff um,
right.
that goes into it. So I'm excited. I'm learning. I'm excited to try new recipes, to write them down, to share them with people that might not know how they can make those recipes where they are, and see what comes out of it. Like, I'm really excited.
It's
It's
awesome.
a lot of fun to be able to experience the island from this lens now as an adult, like,
Mm,
and knowing and having this love for my culture, and like seeing how I can take that and bring it to people, to
mhm.
the world.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, mujer, like, I can keep going and wanting to know more, y a ver un día si voy a la RD, you know?
Well, you are welcome. My
Yes.
house is your house. You can come. You
Same
can
girl,
visit me
same.
out. We'll go to the beach together. We will have like un
Yes.
pescadito frito en la playa con un
Oh, that
Johnny
sounds
cake que te
so
lleva a probar el pan de coco.
ay,
Listen,
sí, por favor.
life here is a vibe.
No, that's
So
amazing.
vibe.
That is amazing, and I'm so glad that you're doing this, and you're doing it for yourself. The time couldn't be perfect, just overall, and you reconnecting back to la cultura, and expanding your business in that way, right? And how you can educate people about your culture, and I love that. And I think that I don't know, I just feel that right now is especially a better moment to share about our culture para que
Sí.
no vayan a pensar que certain thoughts and opinions about other places besides the US. And so I think that this is your opportunity to pivot, but in a way that is purposeful for you. And I feel like I've been saying the word purpose a lot in this episode, but I think that that kind of sums it up, that
Mhm.
your purpose was to move to the DR, and you're finding your purpose now in your brand and your business now that you're there. And I love it. So yeah, Mujer, thank you so much for being here. For those of you who want to connect with you or follow you, how can they do that?
Yes. So I am on Instagram as my.Dominican.Kitchen. People can find me also on my website, mydominicankitchen.com. They can subscribe to my email and receive cute little Dominican recipes for them to, like, make dinner or sometimes try something new. But yeah, they can find me on Instagram at my.Dominican.Kitchen. I hang out there a lot now.
Yes. Oh no, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa, for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was great. Thank you.